right, let's begin. The gospel according to Peter. What? Isn't it supposed to be like gospel according to Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John? Well, yeah, but Peter had a perspective, and I kind of want to dive into it. We're just going to do another week or two of this. And by the way the lyrics went for that last song you just did, Russ, when dealing with a name, knowing your name, that kind of ties into the end, if I can get to it. So we'll see. You know how I roll, right? All right, but first we have some things that made me stop, pause, and ponder. And if you haven't paid attention to the news, then you have not heard. But Pope Francis passed away, and he played a major role, and especially in my history with the garbage I've been through with the Catholic Church and the abuse of a priest, this particular pope played a major role in finding some hope and encouragement to address and calling out people. So I got a couple quotes from him that I thought were really, really good. This one's heavy. Nobody gets scandalized if I give my blessing to a businessman who perhaps exploits people, and this is a very grave sin. But they get scandalized if I give them to a homosexual. This is hypocrisy. Think about that for a minute. This is going to poke and prod a little bit at your who's in, who's not loved, which we poke and prod all the time. All right? I think it's important. I thought it was a great line. I love this from Brendan Manning. God's love is not based on our performance or behavior. This was the toughest thing for me to learn. He loves us simply because we are his children, and nothing can separate us from his love. Nothing. This is big, all right? I love this from Pope Francis. Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. The sun does not shine on itself, and flowers do not spread their fragrance for themselves. Living for others is a rule of nature. We're all born to help each other, no matter how difficult it is. Life is good when you are happy, but much better when others are happy because of you. I thought that was good. I love this one. The apostles wrote to believers and addressed them as beloved. As opposed to lovers of God, one cannot be a lover of God without first understanding that they are beloved of God. We've been saying this here at Hope Fellowship for 10, 15, 20 years. Know your identity. Know you are loved. The revelation of knowing you are truly loved unconditionally by God allows you the ability to actually authentically love others. It's just the fruit of how it works. So let's dive into this. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to deal with a couple translations as well. And I love using multiple translations. I love the message. I like the part you wrote, you read this morning. I've used that version before. It's really good. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, that's okay. Some of mine are longer. But you guys are used to that now. The Passion Translation gets a bad rap from some people, but I think it's one of the more authentic translations. That's a paraphrasey translation, diving into an Aramaic lens. That's the root of it. Go look up and find out how the Passion Translation came about. But I find it says some of the stories better and just kind of locks in an awakening to, okay, I want to understand this text instead of the traditional King James Version or the New American Standard. That's the one I grew up with, or even worse, NIV, which is kind of not a good translation if you're going to study. Pardon? That's fine. It does have some good stuff, but there's some deep theological parts they get wrong, and that's the part I don't want anything to do with that if I don't have to. All right, let's take a look at what happens afterwards. Easter has just happened. The resurrection has now happened. Last week was really fun, talking about all the dead people coming out of the graves and hanging around for 3 days playing cards, and then they went into the city. How many did not ever catch that before or forgot about it? Do you remember that part? Yeah, like we just never focus on it, never talk about it at Easter because they always talk about the resurrection, but I like the cool little innuendos, the extra stuff on the side, and that's what that is. Here we come to a really, really important part, grace after the cross. This is big because we have a couple of people in this narrative that kind of betrayed Jesus. We have Judas who betrayed Jesus, and he took his own life, which I want to talk about later, and I believe, had he not killed himself, a similar story would have happened for him as what happens to Peter. I think grace will pursue, love wins, love goes after, it does not shame. I think Judas killed himself out of overwhelming shame. It was just brutal. Who knows? We don't know the real reasons. We don't know. But it does give hope. It's not just an all bad story. So let's take a look at Peter. Later, Jesus appeared once again to a group of his disciples by the lake. So there's only a few times that Jesus shows up throughout this narrative after the resurrection. So Mary Magdalene first, and so on and so on. So this is amazing. Later, Jesus appeared once again to a group of his disciples by Lake Galilee. It happened one day while Peter, Thomas, the twin, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, Jacob, John, and 2 other disciples were all together. Peter told them, "I'm going fishing." And they all replied, "We'll go with you." Take a look at this little note that's in the Passion Translation. The disciples were told to wait in Jerusalem for the day they would be clothed with power. Wasn't that the instruction? Yes. Obviously, they didn't listen. These 7 apostles were not following what they'd been told, and for this reason, they caught nothing until Jesus joined them. He became the 8th man. Whether that's the real reason or not, who knows, but it's a fun thought. They didn't listen. I'm going fishing. I'm going back to what I know. I'm going back to my life before Jesus found me. Ooh. Let's continue. So they went out and fished through the night, but caught nothing. These are professional fishermen. Poor Drew. He loves fishing. And I have all these fishing memes ready to post for him because he loves fishing that much. Then at dawn, Jesus was standing there on the shore, but the disciples didn't realize it was him. He called out to them saying, "Hey guys, did you catch any fish?" "Not a thing," they replied. And Jesus shouted to them, "Throw your net over the starboard side and you'll catch some." Okay, you're a professional fisherman. Some punk from the shore tells you to do something. It's like you're on a dock and you're fishing. Some person walking by, catch anything? "Hey, what you doing, fishing?" "No, I was thinking of pole in the water." "What do you think I'm doing?" Like, you get all those dumb questions. So here's a guy yelling from the beach, "Throw your nets on the other side." It's like, "We've been doing this all night. What are you talking about?" You can remember you get frustrated? How many play golf? Okay, I love golf, but when I'm having a bad day golfing, I don't feel like being told any advice from anybody at all. I slice my own ball, thanks. And I bring extra so I don't search for them. That's how I do it. It's great. But here, he's saying, throw them over the other side. Are you getting the picture now? So as they did, so they did as he said, and they caught so many fish they couldn't even pull in the net. Okay, fishing all night, and they were just on the other side of the boat and got nothing. And then to have a lot of fish that was so obvious because it was so radically different than before, it was like they couldn't believe what was going on. It was such a shock. So, what? All right, like this is a big deal. Okay. Then the disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It's the Lord." I never caught this before. It wasn't Peter who figured it out. It was John. It was John, the one whom Jesus loved, that recognized the voice of Jesus, or perhaps it was Peter's discouragement that prevented him from recognizing the voice of his master. Peter's name was Simon, which means he who hears. Our hearing his voice is hindered when we're confused and filled with doubts. It can happen. I don't know if that's the reason, because there's something else coming up a little later about them not recognizing him properly, which happened a lot after the resurrection when he showed up to people. They didn't catch who he was. Then when Peter heard him say that, he quickly wrapped his outer garment around him, and because he was athletic, he dove right into the lake to go to Jesus. The other disciples then brought the boat to shore, dragging their catch of fish. So I was wondering, what happened from the time Peter jumped in? How far away from shore were they? A boat can't go faster than the person swimming. What was he doing the whole time? What was he doing by the time the disciples came to the thing? Did he run up to see Jesus yet or not? It doesn't tell us, but that's a gap I've always wondered about. There we go. They weren't far from land, only about 100 meters, which is still pretty far. And when they got to shore, they noticed a charcoal fire with roasted fish and bread. What? There was fish cooking on an open fire. Like, that is, where'd you get these? Where did Jesus get them? It was while standing next to a fire that Peter denied Christ. Now standing next to a fire, Jesus will restore his beloved friend. The imagery is important. There are some parallels here, especially the parallel of, you'll see it in a minute. ADHD, right? I want to tell you everything now. Then Jesus said, bring some of the fish you just caught. But I thought there was fish cooking. So they did. So Peter waded into the water and helped pull the net to shore. It was full of many large fish, exactly 153. But even with so many fish, the net was not torn. Come, let's have some breakfast, Jesus said to them. I love this. And not one of the disciples needed to ask who it was, because every one of them knew it was the Lord. Another translation said they thought it was the Lord, but I'm not going to ask him. Are you going to ask him? You ask him. I'm not asking him. Like, nobody wants to embarrass themselves or say it. So what has happened to Christ's presentation? What did he present as? Did his physical shape change? Did his facial features change? What was it? I have a strong hunch it was all spiritual. I think he was not allowing them to fully see or understand. Because a couple times throughout the story, it was Jesus saying, now he opened their minds to understand. Now he opened their eyes to see. Like when they're on the road to Emmaus, they're having dinner, breaking bread, and suddenly Jesus lets them realize who he is. They go, "Wah!" And boom, he disappears. What? So it's like Jesus lets people know who he is on Jesus' time. We need to learn that today, especially if you grew up in a church world of evangelism explosion, the 4 spiritual laws. Starts with separation, it's brutal. All the evangelical type of teaching of how to win people to Christ when it's not your job. It never was. We're supposed to emulate the love of Christ. Plant seeds. We can't win souls. Jesus does all that. Jesus does the dragging. It's not up to you. He doesn't need your help. Probably you're more of a hindrance than anything else. Well, I got lots of stories about being hindrances. It's like that lady praying, "Dear Lord, I'm trying to teach my son how to know you. I put tracts in his lunchbox. I put Jesus flyers under his bed and under his pillow, and I have little Bibles everywhere. Oh, please, Jesus, whatever's hindering, please remove." And poof, she disappears. Come have some breakfast, Jesus said to them, and not one of the disciples need to ask who it was. Then Jesus came close to them and served them the bread and the fish. This was the 3rd time Jesus appeared to his disciples after his resurrection. And they weren't 100% sure who he was, and maybe they were. After they had breakfast, Jesus said to Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you burn with love for me more than these?" That's a weird way to put it, isn't it? The translation will matter. Peter answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I have great affection for you." That's not the same thing as burning love, right? "I have affection for you." "Then take care of my lambs," Jesus said. Jesus repeated this question the 2nd time. "Simon, son of John, do you burn with love for me?" Peter answered, "Yes, my Lord, you know that I have great affection for you." "And then take care of my sheep," Jesus said. Listen carefully to this 3rd one. Then Jesus asked him again, "Peter, son of John, do you have great affection for me?" See the switch? Peter was saddened by being asked the 3rd time and said, by the way, remember this connects to his 3 denials. I denied Jesus 3 times. Jesus is restoring him 3 times. This is grace. This is what we do to people who messed up. who feel really bad about themselves. We don't let them enjoy their shame and kind of rub it in a little bit because that's kind of fun to do. That's not love. My Lord, you know everything. You know that I burn with love for you. And Jesus replied, then feed my lambs. Peter, listen. When you were younger, you made your own choices and you went where you pleased. But one day, when you are old, others will tie you up and escort you where you do not choose to go, and you will spread out your arms. Jesus said this to Peter as a prophecy of what kind of death he would die for the glory of God. And then he said, Peter, follow me. Where is he? By the lake, just like the first time. Jesus came to him and said, follow me. Jesus doesn't forget. He doesn't deal with shame or guilt at all. My church background grew up with that. It was the main trading currency. Shame and guilt, stay in control, make people feel like crap. CRAP stands for Christian Rules and Procedures, don't forget. But 3 times, Peter asks, or Jesus asked Peter, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? Let me tell you what the Greek words for love are here. This is really important. You're going to get that in the next translation. The first one, Jesus says, do you agape me? That means other-centered love. That is the essence of who Jesus is. Do you agape me? And Peter says, I phileo you, Jesus. Phileo fish. By the waterside. Anyway, I like it. Anyway, the phileo love in Greek is a friendship love, a really affectionate friendship love. Then Jesus says, do you agape me? And Peter says, I phileo you. And then Jesus says, do you phileo me? Yes, I phileo you. Whew. Jesus did not push. Peter still had much to learn. We got to stop making people feel like garbage and not getting it. But this next video, after this next video, I'm going to share with you from the First Nations translation, and you're going to see how they got the translation really right. It's beautiful. But let's first take a look at this Skit Guys video clip that I love. Listen carefully.
Jesus, it's you. You are alive, Peter. Oh, my goodness. Okay, you saw me, right? You saw me? I was in the boat. I wasn't catching nothing. I'm telling you, nada. But I'm in the boat, and I hear the voice. And the voice is saying, hey, cast your net to the other side, right? And then I hear the voice again. Hey, cast your net to the other side. So on a whim, without looking up, I throw it over, and sure enough, a gaggle of fish pop into that net. A whole bunch of fish pop into that net. I'm like, what? Because over here, nothing over here, something, a whole miracle, right? You know this about me. I process things out loud, and I'm totally going, this is a whole miracle. Who does miracles like this? Well, Jesus does miracles, but he's dead, and then boom, I look up, and there you are. There you are on the seashore looking at me, saying, it is I, the Lord. And so I came over, you're here.
Peter.
Yeah, do you love me? Yes, I love you. Yes, I love you.
Then feed my sheep.
Andrew, get out of the boat. He's here. He's here. Come on, let's go.
Peter.
Yeah. Do you love me? Yes, yes. I love you. Yes. Oh, and hey, I'm so sorry about that rooster clucking. I had no idea what that meant, but I do now, and I'm better for it. You know what I'm saying?
Then feed my sheep.
Andrew, I am smiling, but I'm getting mad. Get out of the boat. Come on.
Peter.
Yeah.
Do you love me?
Are you serious right now? You know everything. Jesus, you know everything. Do I love you? Mere words cannot describe the passion that I have for you. I love you with everything that I am. I love you.
Good. Then feed my sheep.
I didn't even know you had livestock. But that's so like you. There's something new about you every day. That's what I love about you.
Peter.
Yeah.
Do you remember the morning the ladies went to the tomb?
Yeah, we were all in the upper room trying to figure out what to do next, right? And then Mary comes running up. And in my defense, I thought Mary was saying, beehive, beehive, beehive. And I'm like allergic to bees, like keep them out, right? But as she kept getting closer, I heard her correctly, and she was saying, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. We're all looking at each other, we're all confused, right? And we're like, who? And she said that the tomb was empty, and there was an angel there. And so me and John, we hightailed it down there. And if John says he beat me, he's lying. I beat him, all right? FYI, all right? And we get down there, and sure enough, the tomb is empty, right? I mean, they're just grave clothes. And you know this about me. I process things out loud. And I'm like looking in there, and I'm like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, you know. But I asked the question. And I keep asking it. And I was like looking at the tomb going, what does this mean? What does this mean? And John is right beside me. John is so good with words. He should write a book. He is so good with words, right? And he said, Peter, don't you get it? This is everything Jesus said he was going to do, and you did it. It's done. This is so great. Come on, there's so much to
Hey,
go.
Peter.
Yeah.
What did the angel say to Mary?
I just said to Mary, go tell the disciples and Peter that everything is okay. He has risen. You're risen. Come on, let's go.
The angel said,
Go tell the disciples and Peter. Go tell the disciples and Peter. You said my name. You said my name. Why did you say my name?
Peter, that's grace.
No, I don't deserve your grace, no. That whole night, people kept coming up to me, asking if I belonged to you, if I was with you. I denied you left and right. No, it was unforgivable. No. It'll take me my whole life to make up for what I did. No, it was unforgivable. You said it, I did it.
Listen, friend, no. What I did for you on the cross was meant to take what is unforgivable and make it forgivable. Peter, it's not about you and what you've done. God's grace is based on me and what I've done. That's grace, my friend. That's grace.
The name matters. First Nations translation, if you've never heard of it, get it. Get it on Kindle. It is written from an indigenous perspective. It's a slower, deeper reading and explanation and understanding of the scriptures in a way we need to see. We need all these perspectives. So I'm going to read it carefully for you. This is just a recap, not the full story, but just part of it, of Peter and Jesus. We're almost done. Creator sets free, Jesus, looked up from the cooking and said, "Bring me some of the fish you caught." Stands on the rock, Peter climbed into the canoe and pulled the net to shore. The fish were large, and they counted them 153 in all. But even with so many fish, the net did not tear. Creator sets free, Jesus, said, "Let us eat." And they all sat down to eat, but no one dared to ask, "Who are you?" They knew it must be their wisdom keeper. They took the fry bread and gave some to each of them, along with a piece of fish. This was the third time he had shown himself to them after coming back to life from the dead. And now we have the restoration of Peter. When they had finished eating, Creator sets free, Jesus, stands on the rock, Peter, and sat down with him by the lake. He spoke to him using the name his family gave him, one who hears, Simon, son of gift of kindness, John. Do you love me more than the others love me? Yes, wisdom keeper, he answered. You know I am your friend. Translation, correct. Then feed my lambs, he said. They sat looking out over the water and listened to the sound of the waves coming in to the shore. Then a second time, Creator sets free, Jesus asked, one who hears, Simon, son of gift of kindness, John, do you love me? Yes, wisdom keeper, he answered. You know how deeply I care for you. Then watch over my sheep, he said. The sound of the water birds could be heard in the distance, and the sun felt warm as it rose higher in the sky. Creator sets free, Jesus asked him a third time. One who hears, Simon, son of gift of kindness, John, do you love me as a friend? See the switch? Stands on the rock, Peter felt his heart sink because he asked a third time, do you love me as a friend? Wisdom keeper, he said, you know all things, you know, so you must know how deeply I care for you. I am your friend. Creator sets free, Jesus said to him again, feed my sheep. Same invitation given years earlier to Stands on the Rock Peter in Circle of Nations Galilee after the canoes had been filled with fish. Grace goes to the place you messed up and redeems it. You're not a failure. Your mistakes, like I grew up being told I am nothing. And I believed it. Oh, and I acted it out with vigor. So many people looking down. Little Zenker, here he comes. Can't do anything right. But when I learned my identity, big change. I started to learn what my name meant. For Jesus to go back to that name, names matter. He went back to his original, what he believed, and restored him again. This is what grace does, and it's beautiful. We got to wrap up because, watch this. So, I'm just saying. Let's pray. Russ, come on up. Heavenly Father, will you call us by a name that we understand, the one you know us as, and will you speak hope and truth into us? Will you remind us we are beloved, even when we don't feel like we are? Will you replace the lies we've been speaking to ourselves and replace it with the truth that matters, your truth, because you are the truth? And point us to the way, which is you, so you can live your life through us. Teach us what all that means so that when we say I love you to you, it keeps growing in depth. Thank you, Father. Amen.